Mexico safe?
That's probably the #1 question I've gotten recently. If you're new here, yo, welcome. My name is Fila, and over the past 2 years, I've been running all over the globe. And in today's video, we're gonna talk about what I think is safe about traveling Mexico solo and what I think is not. And at the end, I'll give you an ultimate conclusion whether I think it's safe to travel solo or not. Within this bigger question of is Mexico safe to travel solo, there are two things and two questions that I wanna point out real quick that I think are really important. And they're questions to you. The first one is, what does safe mean? Because if you don't feel safe in your own neighborhood and it's statistically safer than the majority of Mexico, then of course you're not gonna feel safe traveling Mexico solo. For example, to me, being safe means my life isn't directly in harm's way. Like, I'm not going to be killed. That's kind of my gauge for the majority of safety. Where for some of you watching this, your safety level might be a little bit higher. Maybe you're traveling with a family, or you just want to feel safer in yourself and you don't want to travel anywhere where there's even a chance that you're going to get pickpocketed. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think the awareness of what safety means to you is really important when you start traveling internationally. And the second one is, what does travel mean to you? Do you like to stay at high-end resorts and travel luxury? Or do you want to backpack and hitchhike around the country and ask strangers to stay in their houses? Those are two really important questions for you to answer. I can't answer that for you, but I think it's important to think about while you watch the rest of this video. Now, my first major point whether or not it's safe is the statistics. On Wikipedia, 19 of the top 50 most dangerous cities in the world by homicide rate are in Mexico. That's a huge number, and that's a fact. Now, what I think that doesn't take into consideration is countries that are less documented, which I think is more than we're aware of, at least in United States culture. And the other thing to be aware of on this list is St. Louis is number 9. So I would say if you feel safe backpacking solo in St. Louis, then Mexico would be safe to you. Now, my second point is Latin love. It's just around this idea that culture is so warm in Mexico, and it's really only 1% of the people that choose any type of destructive lifestyle, and by far the majority of people, in my experience, will look out for you extra as a tourist there. Even the people who aren't financially incentivized to do it, like people who would get a tip or people who would ask you for money because they're looking out for you, but because the majority of people in Mexico know the storyline that's being portrayed about their country, they will look out extra for you if you're a visitor. And they themselves might think that their country is extremely dangerous and look out for you because of that. And if you want an example of this, we took 24 hours and just went as far into the jungle area, mountain towns with no accommodation, no hotels, to just see if people would help us out. And we actually ended up staying the night in a guy's place who had never met us, didn't even meet us before he agreed. We were at a cafe and they called this guy on the phone. He was like, yeah, they can stay at my house. And then he came, picked us up, and let us stay on his ranch without ever knowing us before. I'm telling you, Latin love. Now, my next point for you to consider in this whole list is around a story. So we were filming in Tijuana, which is the most dangerous city in the planet, according to Wikipedia. There was one point where we were walking and there was tents and there was all sorts of things being sold in the streets. And then we went a few blocks down and there was nobody, not a soul around, no locals, no tourists. And I was like, this is where it happens. Like, this is where all of my senses have to be on high alert. And we were filming a little bit, vlogging like this. And there was a guy that came out from the second story. He's like, hey, no filming here, no cameras, in what's supposed to be the most dangerous region in Tijuana. Well, there's always two sides of the coin. No? And as I was filming that last part about being out in the middle of the day, we were waved down by a guy from the second floor of a house that told us to stop filming. It wasn't that he wanted anything from us, honestly. He was just letting us know how it was there. And it's important to listen. It's important to listen in those scenarios, and it's important to listen to the street. If locals aren't around, make sure that you are extremely aware. I would even say you shouldn't be there typically. Like 2 a.m. at night out in the streets or certain blocks in certain areas, if locals aren't around, you probably shouldn't be there. My last personal feedback here And I want to be aware that I'm a young man solo traveling, so it might feel and look different for if you're a woman, for if you speak a different language. I never once felt threatened in Mexico, and I traveled all over the country, West Coast, Central, East Coast. I was there for weeks, and I never felt threatened. I think the perspective that we get from the news is just like the perspective that we get from the news in our own country, and it's highlighting the highs and the really lows, typically the lows and the negations, because that's what sells. So that's what we hear. So I understand the fear, I understand the hesitation in traveling there, especially solo, but overall my recommendation would be that it's safe. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, that it depends on your level of safety and what that means to you and what travel means to you. Both of those are really important. But at the end of the day, I would say do it. If you're contemplating traveling anywhere solo, especially close to the United States, I think Mexico is a decent choice. And if you're curious about more adventures from Mexico, I have a whole bunch of videos on my channel that you can check out. I'll put a few of them up here at the end of the video. And again, my name's Ryan Fila. I'll see you in the next one. Much love. Peace.